Hello and welcome to the second Enduro World Series race of 2020. After a dramatic first round in Switzerland, we have come to the beautiful Ligurian Sea here in Italy for Vittoria EWS Pietra Ligure. Yes, we are back in the Ligurian Sea, but for the last 7 years, the Enduro World Series has rounded off its season in Finale Ligure, just up the road. But this year, I am proud to say that we are also racing in Pietra. Joining me is our very own sports coordinator, Rory Cunningham, and GMBN's Neil Donoghue. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of this weekend, let's find out what happened at the last round at Specialized EWS Zermatt.
Enjoy the slip and slide.
Good mud training.
No, first stage of the year, and it wasn't the easiest.
Rory, Jesse Malamed, his second ever EWS race win, and maybe importantly, outside of his home race in Whistler, that can be a bit of a stigma, can't it? What's his confidence going to be like coming into this weekend?
It'll give him heaps of confidence, Rick. We all know Jesse's had the speed for years and it's just been putting it together on race day. He had that sole win in Whistler, and for him to do it again in Zermatt, away from that hometown stigma like you say, it's going to give him a lot of confidence. I think this terrain suits him as well.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and just looking behind me, guess that it is not going to snow anytime today. So with that in mind, let's check out the course these guys are going to be facing. Stage 1's Titalana, 1.8 kilometers, 330 meters down. Stage 2 is Alleluia, that's 1.2 kilometers, joint second shortest in the race. Stage 3, a really exciting one, Hero Boy, which fuses two local classics. That's going to be the Queen stage at 3.2 kilometers. Stage 4, Cuore di Servo, 1.2 kilometers, and then finally Muro Nero, 1.7 kilometers and 250 meters down. Yeah, no doubt about it, an absolutely brutal course awaits. Now, if you want to find out more about mountain biking and indeed any other outdoor activity in this area, please check out finaleoutdoorregion.com. Now, before we jump into stage 1, quickly then, predictions, Neil?
Well, it's familiar landscape, but not trails, so you might think I could go with a new winner, but I can't bet against Martin Mays this year. If you ask me any race this year, I'll say either Martin Mays and Isabel Cadure, I think.
Very, very safe. Rory, you going to throw anything out there in ways of gambles?
I'm with Neil on this one. I think Martin Mays, he's got a speed that no one else has. When he's on, he's on. I think come Sunday afternoon, he's going to be the winner. In the women's race, we know Isabel Cadure is carrying a little injury. Is that going to affect her confidence? You know, Morgan Shar just won French champs. I'm going to tip the hat to Morgan on this one. I think she might do it.
Well, there we go then. I myself, I'm going to courageously stay neutral. First two stages of the day were to be a flat out charge into the unknown. Titalana and Alleluia awaited. A huge thunderstorm overnight had drastically altered conditions out on the stages. Patches of bone-dry dust now mingled with greasy rocks and were combining to catch racers out.
Holding on to the horse, trying to harness the chilled out 60 vibes.
The greasiest greasy thing you've ever greased. Yeah, greasy as out, mate. Can't get me bike to go in a straight line.
After a week of dusty, dry weather riding, some riders were now having trouble with their setups.
Yeah, I did a mistake this morning. I put the dry tires on. Yeah, it's wet, so yeah, I have to go slow. I tried to push a little bit, but I crashed.
The winner at the previous round in Zermatt, Jesse Melamed, had problems on stage 1.
First stage, I was like, a couple of those corners, they just kind of go before the tree is. And I was like, slow up, don't put your foot in front of there. Put my foot in front of the tree and just went down.
But the second stage had gone much better.
It was sick, like that one I feel like read it in way better. It was still just like so tight and like the trail's literally this wide.
That performance gave him the victory on stage 2. The French riders locked out the top 5 in the women's race.
Pretty big crash, but I think I'm all good. Maybe a finger hurt a little bit, but yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it's very slippery on the rock, but it's fun.
Despite a painful ankle injury suffered in training, Isabel Cordurier went fastest.
It's painful when I go down and do some mistakes, so I just try to keep flow and smooth. I also try to not unclip my left foot, so he stayed really on my bike.
But Melanie Poujan, back on a regular bike after an EWS victory in Switzerland, was in hot pursuit. Jack Moyer, in only his second EWS as a full-timer, was riding well and was up into the top 3.
Super slick, so tried to keep it clean. Didn't feel very fast, but stayed upright, so.
Martin Mays was starting to look ominous. The Belgian was in second after 2 stages.
Very physical stage, that's stage 2. Condition, overnight rain, made the track very awkward.
An early retiree was a racer many people had picked as someone to watch out for. Ibis's Robin Wallner was out.
Hit my head very hard, so I'm gonna be done for the day.
Frenchman Adrien Day had been disappointed to exit Zermatt early with a mechanical. The Lapierre Zip Collective rider loves the mud and was leading the race. An intriguing start to proceedings. And the next stage, crucially, perhaps the Queen stage. Neil, talk us through what that involves.
Well, it's the toughest stage of the weekend, so there's some prestige in winning the toughest one, but also the points towards the team championship this year, so important for all the riders.
Well, the toughest stage perhaps, and because we are good mates like that, Rui decided that should be the one that he took me to check out earlier in the week. So here we are then on the Queen stage. It's a combination of 2 absolute Pietra classics, Hero, Shima and Hellboy. Quite open, a few rocks, but actually nice and flowy. Got a few compressions on this top section. The real flat exit there, and I've ran wide and just braked on the exit before this straight. That's going to cost you time in the race. Caution, drop. Oh yeah, that was, well, pretty accurate, it has to be said. And now this climb starts. I get the saddle up. Yeah, this is unpleasant. Oh, and here's a bit more like finale with the rocks starting to come back in. Look at the views.
And this is in the bottom half now. Really, really fast. Kind of bus stops all the way down this section. Although this is the longest stage, it's probably one of the smoothest. Arm pump and hand fatigue, probably not going to be as much of a factor in this one. And then this big bottom hole, I remember. I'm sure Rick will make some good sounds as he goes through that. Oh, the bottom hole! Oh! Through it. How'd you like that, big man?
What a stage. Well, Rory, you must have a crystal ball or something down in the Agriturismo predicting that I would make a bit of a noise when I hit that bomb hole, but I mean, in terms of tough enduro stages, this next one, it really has it all, doesn't it?
It's a long one at 3.3 kilometres, fast and flowy at the top, but then you've got that horrible climb in the middle. The time you get to the bottom, you're going to be really fatigued, and that's where it gets really fast and really loose. It's going to be a tough one.
Absolutely. So here it is then, the toughest challenge that Vittoria EWS Pietra Ligure can throw at the Enduro World Series racers. It's the Queen stage.
Yeah.
The biggest shock of the race so far arrived on the Queen stage. Martin Mays was out.
Conditions change quickly, as we know, and he slid out and had a pretty serious crash. He's alright, but there's got some bruises here and there, and we're patching him up now and see how bad it is.
Was Isabelle Cordurier's ankle injury beginning to affect her? She was beaten by 23 seconds on the Queen stage by Melanie Poujan.
I feel my plan has really changed because of the rain. It was not plain for me. So I'm just trying to avoid crashing and stay safe, that's it. And yep, just doing my best.
Thanks, Isa.
Morgan Schär was second, just ahead of the extremely impressive Louise Paulin. Melanie Poujan rode herself into the lead of the race on the Queen stage. Her victory on Hero Boy edged her 12 seconds ahead of Cordurier. Canada's Rhys Werner rocketed to an incredible Queen stage win. He finished it over 3.5 up on Jack Moyer. Rhys sat in 5th after the stage and Jack moved up to 2nd. Francis Dimitri Tordo and Florian Nicolai were clearly enjoying the long stages, but it was still Day on top. Weather ravaged after a hectic morning, the riders headed down for the mid-race time check and to take on some food and to get their bikes fixed. In the Lapierre pit, the leader of the men's race was taking the opportunity to adjust his setup.
I'm going to change the rear tire for more nubs because it's going to be more steep and technical. The rain is going to be a bit greasy, and I'm going to drop the spring rate to just the one before for more grippy.
2 more stages, Chior de Servo and Muro Nero lay in wait. Could Poujan and Daly hang on, or did the hills of Pietra Ligure have one final twist left in them?
Oh, just, yes, that. It's like blown out and then super slick and wet. You're trying to stay on the little ledges.
Rocky Mountain race faces Adrian Lamfianado was riding well and up into 4th, just ahead of Raffaella Richter. But the French were still holding on to the top 3, with Morgan Schär now in a solid 3rd position.
Yeah, it's like really slippery and kind of sticky, and there are a lot of line going out of the track, so it's pretty hard to manage.
You'd have to go as far back as the last race of 2018 to find an EWS race that Isabelle Corderie didn't win. With Melanie Poujan, the winner of the first ever EWS E-race back in Zermatt, now looking comfortable in the lead, it was starting to look like an uphill battle. Could she catch her? But it wasn't to be for Corderie, as Melanie Poujan won her first ever Enduro World Series race.
Crazy and unbelievable. But I am very happy for all my team, my teammates and my coaches. It's a very good day for me. It's been a long time, but also what's been really hard is to keep on going. You know, I could just say, okay, I'm not racing because I'm not 100% and I need to recover. But I knew it was going to be tough. I knew I was not, like, obviously at my best.
Jessie Melamed, the winner of the previous round, had a mixed day, with an early crash being offset by some stunning speed and a stage win. The Canadian finished the day in 7th, just behind Kevin McKell and Eddie Masters. Canion's Dimitri Tordo had a superb day out in the stages and came home in 4th. His teammate Jack Moyer took to his first EWS podium with a resounding 3rd place.
On to the podium, how was that?
Yeah, just. It was good. Stayed up every stage, so probably went a bit easy on the last two because I knew I was going well and I didn't want to crash. But
Florian Nicolai worked away steadily all day and pipped the rest of the field to 2nd after a superbly consistent 5 stages.
It's a surprise because I was not really confident this morning, and after the rain, better feeling on my bike, and when I saw the result, I was 3rd after 3 stages. I say, okay, you can make a podium, so full gas for the 2 last stages.
But it was Adrian Day in a class of his own, 21 seconds ahead of his closest rivals, who would take the victory.
I really enjoyed stage 1, and the 2 last was really south of French stage. This year I didn't know the speed actually. I was every races was like some trouble, so I'm happy to know the speed and to be back.
It has been a long road back to full speed after what was a very nearly career-ending elbow injury, but finally he had done enough and was back on the top step once more. Pivot Factory Racing were team of the day ahead of Lapierre Zip Collective and Raceface Rocky Mountain. That leaves the championship looking like this. Pivot lead ahead of Rocky Mountain Raceface, who are themselves just ahead of Trek Factory Racing. And that is racing done and dusted here from Vittoria EWS Pietra Ligure. We've had plenty of drama, plenty of weather, plenty of intrigue, but it was all dominated by those 2 incredible performances from Melanie Poujan and Adrian Day. Will they be able to do the double at Bluegrass EWS Finale Ligure next weekend? Tune in to GMBN right here to find out.